Welcome everyone to another set of another stream of some risky Reef game development. I've been thinking a little bit about the game, and I have a tendency to bite off more than I can chew. I'm also, speaking of chewing, having a little bit of tapioca before for post-dinner dessert. 25 cents per thing. The highest quality. But yeah, I'm thinking about what I'm trying to do with this thing, and I'm scaling back and back and back because it's just so easy to never finish anything, and I am really bad at that. So, in the interest of finishing a thing, been thinking about what's the minimal thing that I could do and be comfortable and happy with. Haven't quite figured out how minimal that actually is. You know, I'm obviously going to want to do something like do more than just rudimentary shapes. Like, I'll want to spend a little bit of time on art, but you know, what is the gameplay? What are the systems? So right now we can actually see here, do we have 3 structures? We do, every island. So right now we have a bunch of ports, we have a bunch of islands, and we have a bunch of ships that are traversing around between the different islands. So we have green ships based on their trails that are traveling to different other ports. This one is traveling to the orange or pink port. And there are some fireworks going off outside. And night is slowly falling in the game. Night currently doesn't have any effect, and I think for now I am not going to plan any effect on day-night. They're just going to be cosmetic. So, last time, yeah, we added actual buildings at ports, just to allow us to get a little bit of better sense of what is here, what is at the port. I also got rid of colliders from these objects, which means that we can move through them, but one of the elements here was so I can actually project them out a little bit farther from the island. So I think one of the things I want to do is, if it's 6:30, is move the ports a little farther from the island. I think we also want to play the game a little bit. I think we also want to, we do have starving player ship equals loss. I think that's something that we're going to want to work on. So as we play, I think we want to consider some elements of starvation. We need explicit tasks is something that I think we probably do need. Ports show structures based on what they have is happening. Ports wanting resources. I think, so we do actually have this as well. I want ports to want resources. So, meaning, how do we track? This is kind of one of those things, and kind of thinking about how much this once we get into an economic sim. Hearing lots of fireworks, but maybe you can hear that, maybe you cannot. So, okay, if we hit play, I can kind of move. I'm nowhere near my weight limit, which probably means weight limit will need to be worked on. We have 5 food. Should we actually also start at a port? You'll notice I'm also, okay, food has dropped a little bit. This is gonna start firing at me. So I'm following these because I know they're headed to a port. So if I follow one of these things, eventually I will hit a port. There we go. There's a port. Okay, that is out of resources. I can't see anything on this port. So that's gonna be a thing that we need to work on. So, issues, visibility when map world blocks player ship. So we'll need a solution for that. Okay, so we're at this port. The port has $2,000. It has supplies. Are we gonna surface that stuff? It has construction. It does not have any wealth, but it does have supplies. Oh, we definitely need to buy supplies. So I'm gonna buy some supplies. And yeah, let's go ahead and buy more of those. Supplies are $10 a piece. And let's buy some weapons. Nope. 3. So construction supplies is 1, construction is 2, weapons is 3. Right. Okay. All right. So not super exciting yet because there's actually no impetus to do anything besides kind of hang out somewhere. So we can think about, I had this written down, well, let's keep playing. Oh. Oh, come on. Oh. Well, that's one way. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, we got a ship over there. mothership here. See, this one is still traveling this way. So I think we do want to have missions. Because then that can give us a little bit more explicit, like, reward structure. You know, right now we can have some trading. Let's see, is there a port here? No, but there's a port there. Okay. Alright. So, let's buy a couple of these. Yeah, okay. So I think we can say maybe what we have is so ports have resource multipliers based on supply. I'm thinking that supply is stored and island. And, well, that's it. Let's just leave it there. How much they have stored and how much they're aware of on the island. Then the next thing was explicit goals. Deliver to X location. So then we need to start to think about knowledge of the map. And knowledge is definitely another thing that I'm going to be talking about and exploring a little bit more with this design. That is the one thing that is not really explored at all yet, but I want to do a lot more with it. So, okay. Well, that definitely gives us, and I only have, time is short. I only have about 40 minutes tonight to work on this, but I think we can add ports have resource multipliers based on supply. So, that is totally doable. So if we go to our port, we can say, so I'm no longer using this stuff. I'm gonna save one of these just because it's things I saved. It's things I wrote, and I might be glad to save it in the future. The next thing is explicitly having some sort of value for when the player enters the port. Actually, the port should just maybe update this. Update resource value. So we also have items versus resources, and we're not sending items anywhere. We're only sending resources. Update item values. Update item values for each item type. Check. Update item value this is going to be a for loop for int I is 0 is less than storage dot items. That's just a list of those things. That's just a list of what our items are right now. Which means we still have to get the count for everything. So lots of moving parts here. Three plus I. It's item number. So check storage, check island, and basic threshold times some value. So we'll have a default where value is 1. By how different it is. Has those. Okay, so storage dot get count of world objects dot resources I dot item type item type okay, and then on top of this we're gonna have type, then we're going to island dot resources dot get resources I resources int index dot amount so say int items stored equals that and items island resources on island equals that. That's me condensing things down because I like to do that. So then we're going to want oh, actually not going to pass that. I know I keep redoing all these things. I'm going to say index. Then we will say value, we're going to want update all values. And all references, no references. Okay, what about this? Okay, we are using that. Although, we'll want to redo that. But not using that. So we have the area, we have our name, we have our island, and that's gonna be a items worth. Okay. So when we set this up, we will say items worth equals new float of 3. Okay. So then the items worth of index is equal to the equation of world objects dot resources index dot we're gonna have to go in here to our resource classes. So we have resource value, how much it generates, how much the island generates, the regen time, the building, the item. We're gonna have a public int of neutral amount, neutral port amount. So this would be that is going to be items stored plus resources island, which actually needs to be converted, because this is going to be a different thing, because not every piece of wood is worth a piece of construction. So it's going to be times the world objects dot resources index dot oh, it's in our building over here, the conversion amount. So we need to get the conversion amount, and maybe we should actually be storing that in our resource value as well. I think I'm going to do that. Just public int version amount. How many of this resource equals one item. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead. Actually, it should be divided by that. Okay. So that over that. If we have almost nothing, this should actually be inverted. So what we're doing here is we're saying float excuse me. And then if we do this now, this is going to be like some crazy amounts, but let's find out. Like, we should actually be able to see this in our ports. As long as I don't have any bugs introduced. So, we have our resources: food, wood, metal. This produces weapons, neutral port amount. We're going to say if the island generates between 20 and 1,000, I'm going to say a neutral amount of metal is 200. And conversion amount is, find our blacksmith, conversion amount is 5. So then we have wood, neutral port. A standard port will generate between 10 and 600. However, that will replenish. The weapon, the metal does not replenish. So we're going to say wood, and neutral port amount is 300. conversion amount for that is 1:1. So that's just 1. And lastly, food can generate anywhere in this value. So we're going to say a neutral port amount. And actually, food is going to probably be changing hands a lot. So I'm just going to put it at 400. And what is this? 2. Now, one could say, why do we need to convert into different values? And that is a good question. Is this redundant? Can I just lower the overall amount of metal? If I'm saying that I need 1 metal, could I just say this straight up has between 5 and 200? Maybe. I might be adding an unnecessary conversion amount. Especially since right now, resources never leave the island until they're converted. So, anyway, another potentially redundant element there. So, alright, well, let's see what happens. If I hit play. Nope. Definitely had something. Okay. World objects resources. 0, 1, 2. Oh, it's probably less than or equal to. Let's try that once again. Okay, now that did that again. World objects resources index. Index of index. Okay, let's try this once more. Okay. 0, 1, 2. Wait, why are you doing that? Oh, no, this should be less than 3. It's one of these other things. Objects resources conversion amount. Okay. 1. So something somewhere doesn't have the right resources. Island resources. Well, here's a question. Is our island... Create resources for resources.length. It's creating that resource. Okay, let's look at this. was at 1. Okay. That was world getting that. It's only happening every once in a while. So most things are not getting it out of 851 things, getting 23 errors. It's probably always after 0. Yep, it sure is. So let's go ahead and look at this. I wonder if one of our islands or one of our ports doesn't have an island. Is it that? But you shouldn't be doing that, correct? You should not be updating. Ah, you are. You are updating all ports, even the ones that are not active. So. So, if ports are active, let's try that. Okay, cool. So now if we select one of our ports, let's see, that is worth 0, 0. Interesting. It's giving us floats, so this is starting to do what we want. So we're on this island. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this one. It's saying this is worth 4 times as much. This is worth so we have supplies, construction, or weapons construction. Ugh. Metal, wood, food. So this one is saying metal is worth 4 times as much, construction is worth 6 times as much, and food is worth 5 times the normal amount, based on this island, which has only 62 out of a possible 1,000, right? Yes, almost nothing. So metal worth a lot of money there. Wood, very little. Food, pretty little. So that's cool though, actually. So now let's check other islands we have. So this one, also note that these are, like, these values are like crazy. Just 110360164. Like those values are, I think we'll probably want to say something a little different. So probably what are all, so again we have 0, and that's probably because okay, let's do the next step that I was thinking about dealing with this, which is changing that to a float and changing this to a float. This should give us much different values. If I have forgotten to put that there. Okay. Okay. Port 1.7. There you go. So we're going to have to do tuning there, probably because these are some really high level values, really diverse. We have to figure out how deeply a port needs these things. So like forget what is 0.1 times 0.1. So I think probably what we'll do is then this is how we're doing for the overall thing. Say that plus plus these things, and these are going to be multiplied by okay. Times the need multiplier. Which is just going to be something here. Call it public float need multiplier. All right. Okay. So then the last thing to actually get this up and running, and I have a feeling it's going to take us a couple more minutes than the other things, is we actually have to adjust for that in our purchasing sequence. Right. item supply. And then this is going to be do we have the actual storage? Oh, we're only sending it the storage and not actually. Well, where is this get storage string called from? Only from here. So we can import dot worth. Float worth. Items worth. Okay. And that is an array of floats. Say this is times items worth dot so supplies are 2. This is 1. And this is 0. Okay. We actually need to also have that inside of the purchasing process. So, ship hold purchase. These should be in the storage. They should just be in the storage itself. There's no reason not to have this, so. Public float worth. Item values. Yep. So then we can go back to here. These are going to be port.storage.item value multipliers. And we don't need to change that. Okay, I'm going to rearrange these. Nope. Yep. There we go. Weapon construction supply. And, so our ship hold, if storage now has that thing, you can say anytime a purchase is made, it's more than cost. Cost multiplier seller storage. Go ahead and say cost multiplier right there. Item cost. Yeah. Item cost is going to be item to buy dot cost times seller storage dot get get item worth of item type of type. Getting there. Void. Nope. Float. Get item worth of item type. If item case, that should just be case. Nope. Switch item type case item type dot weapon return item value multipliers 0 case item construction 1 and default return that is 2. Oof. Not the prettiest thing, but get item worth should now. Public. Okay. All right. So item cost. Now we can just say item cost everywhere. Int by cost. Convert this to an int. Okay. Cool. So now the last thing I think that we basically have to do is when we create a storage, we need to item value multipliers equals new float 3. I think I actually just say 1F, 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 right? New float, something like that. port instead changes storage dot item value multipliers. Then we can get rid of this thing and this thing. Okay. Let's see what happens if I press play. Okay. And there's a port right up ahead. And I'm gonna get shot by these. Let's hope I don't die before I get there. Maybe they'll kill each other. They will actually kill each other right now, the way that's... Oof, those are expensive. Alright, so... Which should be the opposite, because this is a mega island. If we select the port, storage item value multipliers is 2 to 3. Oh. Oh. That would do it. Our port need multiplier is by like 0.5. Okay. So now let's see what happens if we select this. Go into this port over here. Select that port. I don't know, what does this island look like? Has a lot of metal. Does not have much wood. Has a lot of food. Okay. Clearly something. This should be worth a lot less. Cost a lot less. So, well, next time. I'm actually pretty happy with, you know, another hour of work on this. So I think we can say we definitely have, ports have, ports have resources multipliers based on supply, and I will do that one little thing, which was port offset. Island minimum distance, island values, port values. All right, where did we do that? Add island, add port. I'm gonna mute this for a second. little bit farther. Let's find out. Yep. Ooh, too far. But that also definitely depends on the island size. So, cool. Alright, well, I have to jump off, but cool, making progress. Alright, thanks for hanging out, and talk to you next time.